Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car interior tutorial. And in the last episode we had a look at the seats. In this episode what we're going to try to do is have a look around the frame of the window here. I said in the last episode we can see that we've got a few gaps because this does curve, maybe not quite as much as that on the actual car, but then it's kind of hidden from the seal around the top of the window. We also want to get the kind of interior areas of the A-pillars put together, and that will allow us then to kind of seamlessly go across the top of the dash and down the door at the same time. It's taking quite a while to do, but I mean, doing the interior of a car is probably around roughly the same amount of effort as it is to do the exterior as well. So I think what we'll do to start off is we'll do the top portions here. So I'm just going to hit 1 here to remove the smooth, and I think what we'll do is we'll use the bottom portion here of the window frame, and let's just hit Ctrl E to extrude off. And it looks like we're going to want to come down off here, but we want to come this way too. It looks like you're going to want to be something like that. It does seem to come off a fair distance, but it does also appear that it gets a little less as it comes towards the end here. Take those in. Something like that. I think what we'll do with this as well is we'll maybe take it in here so slightly. Let's grab these and extract them. So we'll go edit mesh and extract. So we're going to have a separate portion here. Now this is going to be the portion that has the roof click into, so it does have some like little locking mechanisms inside here, so we'll maybe add that at some point. So we can see here that that's the mechanism in place there, so it looks like we actually do need to come considerably further. Also looks like maybe the roof portion here doesn't actually come far enough, so let's just grab this and just move that here. And it looks like maybe we're going to have to grab all of these, like so. I want to grab these sides too. Your model may be fine, but it looks like... oh, actually maybe that's the rubber portion there. So actually I don't think we do need to do that. So let's just undo all of that. It looks like we're probably just going to want to bring each of these all the way over here. This one here. So it does have seemingly quite a large bit there. Okay, on the examples that I've got here, it does actually look fairly significant, so that's okay. Okay, so I think what we'll do then here is let's grab our mesh tool, let's insert an edge loop, and let's drop one in around here. Maybe not, let's actually draw that in because we're going to want to kind of try and follow the line here. So if we go like so, here, so follow all the way there, so that's going to line up nicely in line with that portion. It does look like this rubber portion here is kind of doubled up, and it does look like we're going to want to draw another bit along here. So let's go around like so. And then we'll come here as well. Okay. Now it looks like what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab the faces here and the faces here. We're going to want to extrude these in. I'm going to pull them in on the blue. Go in maybe something like that. And in doing so, let's delete all of these. this, and this, and that too. So it's going to be a case here that these are going to be the kind of rubber portions that come up, and then this is going to be the plastic that kind of lays underneath. Looks like maybe at this point we're going to want this to come over here, like so. Take that in a little bit here as well. Okay, so I'm just going to apply another material to this because it's not looking like it's what it should be, obviously, because we want this now to be black. So let's just drop a darker lambda on there. So what we probably want to do here is I think we might actually want to raise this up. Just make sure this pivot is centered here. I think we're probably going to want to bring that up here. And then we can grab these edges. And I'm just going to bring them towards and down at the same time. Just into that portion. Kind of plugs that gap there. What we could also do is let's grab these here. And I'm going to bevel. Something like that. We're going to also want to bevel these edges, I think. So grab each of these here. I'm just going to hit G just to bevel this too. And that looks okay. I'll just add some more segments to that as well. It does look like on my examples that the gaps here aren't quite as large. Let's maybe bring that in the way here. Go up a little as well. Okay. That's looking okay. And then we'll want this edge here to be fairly straight because it looks like it's a different material that's applied on top of what we have here. So if we smooth that back off by hitting 3 and remove our things, that's looking pretty good as it is just there. Okay. We do seem to have here a gap between when we are straight and when we're smoothed off. So let's just grab this here. I'm gonna want it to kind of intersect over here. So bring that to position there. Okay, so that's looking good. It looks like now this portion here, we're going to want to smooth this. We're going to want to grab these edges, extrude them straight down. That's looking okay. Now let's have a look at these A-frames. So it looks like here, these kind of just stay as they are. It looks like up here we want this to extrude down further, something like that. And then what we're going to need to do is we are going to need to grab each of these here and take them underneath. Like so. So all this is going to kind of connect now to the underside here. So let's smooth again. Let's bring a wireframe back. So it looks like this is going to merge over here. We want these two to merge together, and we want those to merge too. Put that there. Those there. And then we'll also want to bring that down here. And then do the same here. I think what we probably want to do, actually, is we probably want to drop an edge loop here. I'll try and follow that around there. And then we can bring that up here too. Okay, so that's looking okay. I think here, let's grab this one and let's extrude this up. I'm just going to isolate the selection for this and bring that over here, merge that there, and then merge those ones there. Okay, so I think to meet that we're going to want some more elements of this to be extruded, so let's grab all of these here, and same process before, we're just going to pull that in, like so. And then we can select those and extract, and again we're going to want to apply a darker color to this so that we can differentiate it. So do something like that. See, so we can see that we can see this from here. So we're going to want to bring that all the way across. So do something like that, and could make sure we're seeing okay in our front view. Bring that one up there, these up too. And then I'm going to want to bring this in the way here. Okay. And then let's just make sure we're following this line quite nicely. Okay, that's looking okay. Let's grab the inside of this too. Okay, let's just double check and bring in our windshield. Just make sure we're not protruding out the front of it here. Which we're not. That's fine. And let's grab the edges here. I'm going to want to bring this ultimately back here. So let's isolate this portion and these. So we ultimately want this to attach over here. So let's snap these to their corresponding portions by holding V. Okay. I think what we'll want to do at this point is we'll want to probably grab these here, and we're probably going to want to bevel them. That should be fine. I'll bring that back here. That's looking okay. So let's grab this. Let's grab these again actually, because we are going to want to now think about how this is going to sit. So let's maybe grab these edges here and extrude these. Now I think what we'll want is we'll want this one here to snap over here. And we'll want this one here to snap over here. Which is fine. It may make sense for this to come over here. And then this one to snap under here. Okay. And just get that a little bit smoother going around there. And I think when it comes to doing some details, we'll just maybe extrude that in a little bit, because it does look like that's not looking too bad as is. Okay, so we've got our A-frame pillar inside there. Let's maybe go back to this portion here, because this is going to be making our dashboard. So, looks like we're going to need, this side here is going to be extruding up. towards our dash. Now, what we're going to want to do is let's maybe extrude this. So maybe start with this one here, and then we'll grab all of these. I'm just going to hit Control E. We'll bring this up. So it looks like ultimately we want this to be coming up and making the dashboard of the car. Okay. It's going to be fairly tough to see how high this should come, so we're going to have to maybe judge it by proportions. It looks like in my examples here that the top of the dashboard, so the top of this portion here, actually sits about here on the seats, about part way down that side bolster. So it looks like we're going to want that to sit maybe like that, because this is going to be always going up, 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 up here. So I think that looks okay. We're going to need to delete that face just there. We're going to need this to come back down and snap here. Merge that, and we're going to need this to come down here. Do the same. And then we're going to want these just to nicely start to slowly raise. Now it doesn't look like it's any form of gradient to this raise, it just looks like it goes up. So that's going to want to go a bit more, maybe there. And then we essentially just want this to be rising fairly consistently. Okay. So I want that to look something like that. That's not too bad just now. And then there is a little bit of a design to this, because the portion here that moves up the way kind of has a little handle inside there. So what we'll maybe do is we'll probably go about here and follow that up. And then when it gets to this portion, this bit kind of curves out and starts to become the dashboard. Let's see about, pretty sure we put the doors on here, so let's see about hiding those. So let's grab these and just make sure we're going at a nice straight trajectory. And that's going to come to about here. Do that. Okay. So let's grab these and we'll hit delete. And what we'll want is, let's actually delete that too. Okay. Well, maybe for now, just to save any confusion, we'll ditch these two. So we're going up like so. Just getting over an angle here. It looks like maybe a little bit too thick. something like that. Okay. Something a bit more like that. And so the outside portion of this, so we want this to come up and this to start molding into the actual dashboard. We then want this here to maybe we want this to actually be like so. Let's just make sure we get all those points merged together there. It does look like this handle is a little bit higher, so we'll go something like that. And then it looks like this portion here if you grab this edge, looks like we're going to want to take this up. And you can grab this here, maybe go like that. Because we are going to, looks like it does fold in a little bit like so. And then this bit here is going to come up here. So looks then that all of this really has gone a little bit too far. So let's maybe grab this and bring it back here. It looks like maybe about there. So actually for now let's just merge that and do the same here. And then we can separate that portion after. So that's looking okay. And then it looks like by this point we're probably going to want to insert another edge loop around here. And at this point we want all of this to be in here. But we actually want this to be coming out here. Or maybe both of these. And we'll get these here merged. These will take in fairly close. But then this is where it starts to curve out to create the dashboard. So we can see that this is going to become this portion. So if we're to grab all those edges again, we can extrude down here. So if we can grab that. This bit we're going to bring over here, and these are going to continue running up here as part of the main center console. Okay, so that's looking good. Although it does look like this here we're gonna need to, I'm gonna need to flip the normals on there. Okay, and then this as well. We'll bring it up here. Okay, so that's looking okay. It does look like here we need these to be further out like so. And then these ones can kind of follow that too. I want to grab both of those. Follow that out too. Okay, so far we're looking pretty good. I think we'll leave it there for this episode. In the next episode, hopefully we'll get a little bit more detail added to this portion. We might hopefully get the majority of the dashboard laid out, obviously without the major instruments inside. I think once we've laid the dashboard out, it'll be easier then to do the door cards, and then we'll have kind of like a overall interior section here filled in fairly well. I think in between episodes, I'm just going to tidy this area up and just make sure that that mesh is flowing nicely. But until the next episode, guys, cool.